Good, beautiful morning, everybody. Welcome to the Monday edition of Shortcuts from Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And today we are on Monday, May the 29th, 2023. Today I have with me the energy of Archangel Metatron. He wants to talk about the statement, break your chains. These are metaphorical changes, he tells me. These are metaphorical chains that you need to break free of. And they are subjectivity to your emotions and subjectivity to your thoughts and subjectivity to your body. To break the chains of them being your masters so that you are no longer manipulated, controlled by what the world is conditioning your mind and body. And we're going to just go a little deeper into this. So we are at this point in human collective unconsciousness where we as a species are collectively orchestrating all of the experiences, even those people that are enslaved in the world, even those people that are on the top in the world that are controlling things so everybody seems to think. And everybody in between, the lowest of the low and the highest of the high of humans and our expressions, we are collectively creating the existing conditions that are unfolding in this physical dimension right now. And this becomes very important for you to understand. Because most of us do not know. You do not know how to orchestrate your thoughts and your energy properly. And you are creating decay and destruction in your societal systems. The ability that you have to begin to awaken, to begin a process of awakening yourself to what you are as a consciousness, a spiritual entity here to be the architect of transformation and the change of energy in a direction of intentional creation. Many of you find yourself in unnecessary suffering and wrongfully believing that it is essential that you suffer. It is important you come to the understanding that suffering is not necessary in a point of understanding in your consciousness. That there's a point in your consciousness where you can awaken sufficiently enough so as to do away with unnecessary suffering in your life, in your thinking, in your feeling, and in your being. What you see here in this physical world is the manifestation of your thoughts, your memories, and your emotions, mostly running automatically on their own, when you came here, in fact, to learn the process of intentional creation. There are great numbers of you beginning to awaken to this realization that your thoughts are indeed creative. They do indeed affect the substance of matter. Your bodies are affected by the thoughts that you contain in your consciousness. Both inherited thoughts and thoughts you acquire are generating the experiences that you see both individually and collectively around the world. And those who understand this process live quite freely in terms of how they exist, unencumbered by poverty, disease, and misery. If you understand the function of your consciousness as a creating intelligence, then you will not need the mechanisms of suffering in the fashion that you have formerly. These ones that have learned to articulate thoughts as a function of creation, understanding that they generate frequencies and actions of energy that produce experiences, are doing so unencumbered by the emotional restrictions that many of you are currently bound by. Many of you are bound by your past emotional considerations, believing them to be more real than your very function of creation. It is time you awaken. It's time to awaken yourself to the understanding that you are not your thoughts. nor are you the thoughts that others have given to you. The creative geometry that becomes available to you when you recognize your ability to differentiate yourself from your thinking mind, to differentiate yourself from your memories, to differentiate yourself from your physical body. At that point in differentiation, the function of creation becomes fully available to you. For in that position, you understand full well the nature and meaning of vibration, how it organizes the conditions of time, space, and matter. This is very important. The conditions of your life as they are now are an orchestration combining thoughts, memories, emotions, and matter into the dance that you call your life and your experiences. You are at any time able to articulate specific changes when you become aware that you can do so in your thinking, which in turn organizes your emotions, which in turn organizes your physical expressions and the conditions of your environment, which are not separate from your thoughts and your emotions and the actions of your body. They are intimately connected. There is not one experience that you are having in your life now or will have in your life or have had in your life that is not following this simple principle, that thoughts generate electrical energy that causes very specific emotional conditions that generate very precise actions. They create the symmetry of your life, what you call good, what you call evil. These are manifestations of thought and emotion. And this is the time of great awakening, for the energies coming to you now are so powerful and potent that your thinking and the energies which they generate are producing very specific conditions that you call your life, and that you are able to alter those conditions specifically with your own thinking mechanism. If you choose to continue deferring your thoughts to others without due accounting of the nature and quality of those thoughts, then you will experience your creation accordingly. That is to say, if somebody gives you an idea that is detrimental to you, and you accept it, and you believe it, and you feel it, well, then you will experience it. Be very mindful in these coming days, for there is a great frenzy of activity to subjugate many more of you to conditions of fear and uncertainty than there are those seeking to bring you to conditions of love and enlightenment, and therefore freedom. Understanding the nature of yourself as a creative entity becomes extremely important now, more than ever, that you are a creating entity. There are many that are coming forth right now to offer you solutions, thoughts, ideas, and informations that will, in fact, liberate you from suffering. These will be repeated and presented to you in many different ways at many different times, but they will all have a hallmark, a signature, if you like, that represents the function of love. That is, ideas and information that heal, liberate, and eliminate suffering from your life are functions of love. And those things that would cause you to suffer more are seeking to do the opposite, are functions of fear. If you are suffering, then you are in fear. And if you are able to change the function of your mind, become more discerning about the thoughts that you will allow into your consciousness, you may become the sole architect of your experience. And I use that word soul very specifically, for you are a spirit of universal light. That is what you are by nature, this material medium in which you find yourself, but a very short stint in your journey through infinite intelligence. So you can find yourself now in a position of remaining subjective to what the world has given you, or become consciously objective about the nature and quality of the thoughts that you would choose to indulge in, which in turn generate the nature and quality of the emotions that you experience, which in turn cultivate the nature and quality of the experiences that you call your life, even now and in the future to come. Understand that you are organizing everything in your life with your thinking, or the thinking that others would give you. For there are many competing to give you thoughts that would keep you in a certain structure of consciousness that would allow others to have advantage over you. And there is great swings in this movement now between those who are taking advantage and those who are, if you may use the term, subjective to that, allowing their minds, their thoughts to be governed by someone else. If you understand this process that I'm speaking of, then you'll also recognize that you're in a position to create great liberation in your consciousness, a liberation that must come about as a direct result of your own free will. If you are surrendering your thinking and your imaginings to other people, then you are certainly not using your own will. And it is only through your own will that you will find liberation and freedom from your suffering. The ability that you have to select and choose your own thoughts must not be ignored nor denied by you without consequence. If you understand this, then you will find yourself in a very different place if you choose to reassert your authority and dominion over what you will allow in the temple of your mind. For what is in the temple of your mind is also reflected by the experiences you have in this material world. And I would say to you that your time is getting shorter on this planet given the existing conditions that we see. In that there are very specific things that are unfolding which are not unalterable but have an inevitable result if they are not changed. As surely as you would drop a ball from your hand, it would fall to the floor. Surely as long as you continue to propagate your creative process in the way that you are in this world with your thinking, your emoting, there is a certain inevitability to the outcome of these things in your experience of time, space, and matter. The inevitability is something that you have a choice over. It can be inevitably good or inevitably not so good. But there is an inevitability to all the thinking that you are doing individually and collectively. There is an inevitability to all the thinking that you are doing individually and collectively. And not one amongst you can escape the reality of the conclusions of the processes of creation. There is not one amongst you that can escape the effects of your own causes. What thou shalt sow, thou shalt also reap. It is inevitable. You cannot escape that. But you can change what you are sowing and then change what you will reap. And the time is getting very short for humanity, at least in terms of the time that you experience in these physical bodies. The time is fairly short when compared to your limited recollections of your history. If you understand this, then know this also, that in a very short time, you can also change this entire direction you're going in. The functions, thoughts, and actions of love are very precise and specific. And you will hear this being said many, many times through this one. For it cannot be underscored or overstated enough that love has a very different function in the creative process than does the function of fear. And what would you choose? You have the ability to evaluate each and every one of your thoughts. You have the ability to evaluate if a thought is a thought of fear or a thought of constructive love. There is a distinction. And you need to come to an understanding of this for yourself so that you know. so that there is no more doubt. We give this one here proof on a daily basis that this is the truth. There are individuals that have been directed to him that have experienced our work through him and have found themselves being healed, their minds being restored, their lives being altered as an effect of their own ability to grasp these simple principles of thinking consciously and deliberately, mindfully, what thoughts you would think and what they would create. And for those of them that have done this, there is freedom from bondage of fear, freedom from bondage of suffering. This is a choice. This is the way that you, whether you like it or not, are here to create the experiences you are having, not simply to jump on and go for a ride, as so many of you thought you could, and find yourself suffering and saying, I want to end my suffering. How may I do this? And we tell you quite simply, begin to become aware of what you would choose to think. Weigh and measure each thought carefully, for each thought you think is going to create. It's the nature of thought upon this physical dimension, is that thought affects matter. And that understanding will loan itself to a great deal of freedom and a quick end to your suffering if you understand that to think one way or another is going to create, even on a simplest level, pleasure or pain. But ultimately, it will produce for you freedom or suffering. And what would you choose when you know you can choose? For there are many of you that believe that you cannot change your thinking. And there are many of you that even believe you cannot change how you are feeling, and yet the two are interconnected. If you cannot change one, you cannot change the other. And yet there are very simple mechanisms that come through this one quite often on how you can simply change these things. Very simply and easily and gently and lovingly can you begin a process of liberating yourself from suffering, all suffering. There are many amongst you that do not suffer. You know this, right? There are many who have learned the function of creation that do not struggle nor toil. Many. You do not see them because they are not in resonance with you. Those that learn to lift their consciousness high, that choose very intelligently and intentionally the nature and quality of their thoughts, then align themselves to those who are of like mind. And this is true on all levels, even amongst those that suffer. There's a likeness of thought, a likeness of emotion that bonds you together in that state. As there are those that are free and happy and joyous in the process of creation, that are with those that are free and happy and joyous in the process of creation. Birds of a feather truly flock together. And the manifestations of your experiences from the perspective of creation involves a very unique geometry and symmetry of the orchestration of time and space and matter, even down to the most minute element of matter, the most minute element of matter, to the greatest sized star or even a universe. These things in the realm of creation are neither big nor small, but you can affect them all with your thinking process. And your sciences would tell you, well, if you can think this thought, then you can turn the glass into a cup. Or you could turn the sun into the moon. And there is a place in consciousness where that is possible, but not for most. If your science is understood, and they are coming closer with each year to understanding the subtle interplay between thought and matter on a demonstrable level. At least they've gotten it to the very basic level that they now know that a thought can affect the outcome of the particles of what you call light, forming light into waves or particles according to the nature of the observer. Well, that is true for all experiences of matter. The body that you're in is now a manifestation, because that is the manifestation of your consciousness producing that outcome that you experience. To break free of your chains at this time is essential if you wish to experience love as opposed to fear. But even in your suffering, you are still exerting a function of fear. You are free to exert yourself in suffering. And that is a freedom of itself. The very nature of thinking is free. But whether you are choosing to do so or not would give you the illusion that you are not free if you are not making your choices deliberately. And if you are deliberately and intentionally choosing your thinking, then you're intentionally manifesting very specific changes in your life, and that will give you far more delight than not being aware that you can do so. But every one of you is in the process of creation, of utilizing the mechanisms of thought and emotion to produce the experiences that you're having right now. And you look around in your life and you will see that everything in your life, as you can see it right now, is a product of this process. The only difference being whether you are conscious of the process or not. But your liberation is always at hand. Even in your suffering, you are still in the realm of creation, just not consciously. But once you become conscious of the fact that you can alter and change the function of your thinking, then you move towards the realm of deliberately and intentionally manufacturing your experiences of time, space, and matter. And that is certainly far more preferable than not doing so. Although from the perspective of what you are in your true essence, none of this really matters. From the perspective of this physical realm, it certainly matters to your body that it experiences certain things, and it certainly matters to you that you experience your body experiencing things, because that is what you do. You experience your body experiencing, but you are not your body, but you experience it experiencing, and you get to experience the effects of your causes through that mechanism of biology. So it becomes very important then to be able to deliberately and intentionally articulate your thinking deliberately, intelligently, and willfully to find your liberation. And so we conclude in saying that it is very important that you understand that in the truest meaning of the word freedom, you are all free. The question is, are you going to be free consciously or unconsciously? And for those of you that are free unconsciously, there is the perception of suffering, the process of duality. And for those of you that know you are consciously creating, there is the process of consciously creating, delighting in the manufacturing of your experiences of time, space, and matter, realizing that all along you are free to do so. And all of you are, whether you are aware of it or not. It is certainly much better understanding how to do it as opposed to simply experiencing the effects without being the one consciously choosing what thoughts you're going to do to produce those effects. In the next 21 years, you will have an opportunity to correct these things. There is a certain inevitability that will unfold if you do not. One thing that your sciences cannot account for is the collective nature of your consciousness and how it influences time, space, and matter for all of you. How you influence the functions of the stars and the planets that you have your attention upon. Much the same way as you can look at the light waves and see it as a wave, and look at the light and see it as a particle, you can look upon the stars and see them a certain way, and you will experience things a certain way. But you all have a very wonderful opportunity, both individually and collectively, as to what you can or cannot do during these next 21 years. Wow. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Rainbow Warrior, for that super chat. Oh, thank you, Janine. I really appreciate that super chat on YouTube. Question from Lauren. I'm going to beach bungalow this week by myself. Any messages? Yeah, you want to meditate in the sand. Like, you want to immerse your body under the sand and meditate, Lauren. Like, build a bowl and sit in the bowl of the sand and do your meditations there. let the energy from the sacrum connect to the center of the earth, and then let that connection connect to the crown chakra in the brain. You're going to find that's going to be really useful in the first few days. Allow the inspiration that comes to you to come to you. Thank you. Question from Janine. How is my brother, and will we find out who did it to him? I'm getting a strong yes that they're going to find out who did it to him, but it's going to come about in a very unexpected way. And yes, he's totally okay. It's okay, sis. Like he's saying, like, oh, I'm okay, sis. I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. Yes. Yes. He was surprised too. He's surprised too. Thank you, Jeannie. Really appreciate that. Question from Bruno. Hi, Bruno. I'm very scared and lost. I think and feel my wife is cheating on me. Hey, Bruno, I want to say something to you really important. I don't know who this is coming through, but this is what's going to come through for you. Listen, first of all, your life is being organized. You're actually creating the conditions you're fearing. Understand that. And I want to tell you this right now. If you can learn to, instead of getting caught up in your fear, relax your body. Like literally relax your body, release the fear from it. There's a change coming in your life, and that's what you're really afraid of. You're afraid of the change that you've asked for, because there's things that you've wanted to change in your life and things that she's wanted to change in her life. And those products together are creating the outcome of your experiences. So Bruno, take some time to get yourself quiet, calm, and peaceful. Do not worry. Do not get fearful. Do not get fretful about what the outcome is. Breathe slowly and deeply. Liberate the fear from your body. And can ask yourself this question. If I was love, ask yourself this question. If I was love, what would I say or do with my partner? If I am love, what would I say or do with my partner? What would love say? What would love do? Consider that. Yes, I will. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You want to literally act and think from love, not from fear, Bruno. Like literally act and think from love, not fear. If you act and think from fear, very specific things will unfold. If you act and think from love, very specific things will unfold. And a lot of people will do things because their fears are, so they'll begin to act and think and behave in ways in order, I don't want my partner to leave me. I don't want this thing to happen. And so what happens is you end up operating and doing things from fear. Ask yourself that question. Is what I'm thinking, saying, or doing from love, or is it from my fear? Because if you're acting from fear, you're going to get very specific results. And this isn't a judgment. It's just what happens. It's just really what happens. It really is. Someone's saying here, I've been in a domestic violence marriage for 27 years. How do I get out? Will be difficult for me. Hannah, first of all, I want to send you and your family system much, much love. And I highly encourage you to reach out to some of the outreach programs. I don't know a country or city you're in. If you want to send me a private message, you can do so through my website. Go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and use the contact form there. Send me a message so I can reach out to you and offer you some resources that would possibly prove helpful for you. And nobody should be living in a relationship that's based in violence, which is, again, just somebody living from fear, right? You're both living in fear. You're the fear of being harmed, and he from the fear that he's got no control and power, right? But there's some resources I could refer you to if you go to my website and click on contact and send me a message with your email and outline your situation, and I'll send you a list of resources that you can connect to, because nobody should be living in an aggressive situation for that period of time. And I can tell you this, that both of you are suffering, because even the one who's perpetuating violence is suffering, because in order to be violent, one must be living in fear. And in order to be subjected to violence, one must be living in fear. What love would say and what love would do is very different than that. And again, please reach out to me, Hannah. Sending you much love, much healing to your situation. Question from Sanaz. Any advice for me on what should be my next step from Archangel Metatron? Am I on the right path? He's showing me a configuration of 3 small pyramids One is rose quartz, one is amethyst. These are pyramids that got a rose quartz, an amethyst, and a ruby underneath them. These three pyramids, put one at the top and one on the sides, and sit in meditation with these three pyramids around you. Just sit in meditation and ask for the image and the thinking that's needed at this time. Ask for the image and the thinking that's needed at this time for you. Wow, I like that. Thank you. Can you see what June holds for me, please? I could really use help from many above. Hi, Lupov. Yeah, I'm being told to tell you, you need to really let go of the anxiousness and the sadness. You need to let go of your anxiousness and sadness because you're anticipating from your past. They're saying that you're anticipating your future from your past. You must get into an alignment of feeling excitement and joy about this coming month. Feel excitement and joy about this coming month. Even if you do not know what that might look like, be in the energy of excitement and joy. Yes. And I would also encourage you to consider, what would a beautiful month of June entail? What would the next month look like for you? What things would happen? What people would show up in your life? Write a list of all the things down for you that would make June an amazing month. Like literally, get a pen and paper out right now and write as many things down that would give you joy in the month of June. Write as many things down that would give you joy in the month of June. And write as many as you can. Keep writing them. And ask yourself the question as you're writing, how would it feel if this happened? Ask that question. How would it feel if this happened? How would it feel if this happened? And write something down. How would it feel if this happened? And you're going to build energy up by doing that. Will set things in motion for June as an act of your will and not an act of hope or waiting for something out there to do it. You are a creating intelligence. You are a creating intelligence. So write as many things down as you can that would give you joy if they happened in June. Write down as many as you can and ask yourself how you would feel if it really happened. And that will help you build the energy to create an amazing June. And then as that happens for you, please come back to the channel and share your experience with us, or again, send me an email, or just let us know how things go. Wonderful, thank you. Scrolling down here. Yes, your parents are, yes, pardon me, your mother's not. Your father is. Your mother's back in an incarnation. Your mother's back in an incarnation. She's back in this dimension. Your father's saying something about the word Scrabble. He's saying something about Scrabble. He wants me to just say the word Scrabble to you. He wants you something about Scrabble. He wants you to just receive that word Scrabble. Let us know what that means for you. Thank you so much. So glad you're here. My sister passed away in 2012, and it was so sudden. I don't know how she passed, and I need answers. Can I ask you to just, yes. She wants you to feel relieved that you had no fault in this. She wants you to feel relieved that you had no fault in this. But I'm also being guided to ask you to just sit down for a moment. Just sit down. Put your right hand over your physical heart. Your right hand over your physical heart, which is right about here, the left breastplate. And put your hand over your physical heart. And just allow yourself to take a slow, deep breath and relax. Allow yourself to relax. Allow yourself to relax as you exhale. Put your attention on your sister now. Put your attention on the memory of your sister and just feel the energy that you're going to receive from her as you do that. So the hand there, breathe and relax. Put your attention on your sister and allow yourself to feel and receive the energy that she wants to give to you. And whatever that energy is, allow yourself to receive it. She wants you to know that you are not at fault in any way, shape, or form. She wants you to know that. But she wants you to receive this energy from her. Like really, hand over the heart. Breathe, relax, put your attention on her, and feel the energy you receive from her. And then share in the comments section what your experience is of that energy, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. Question from Julu. Metatron, how can we start a movement for humanity to move more into love? Actually, we were given one a few years back. It's an organization called 1 Billion Strong. It's a YouTube group called 1 Billion Strong. And its whole function is to teach people to meditate just for 5 minutes, twice a day, to put your attention. In this case, we were told to choose 12 p.m. and 12 a.m. and suggest that everybody that's willing to do this for 5 minutes at 12 a.m. put your attention on love and let your love, that feeling of love, radiate out to everyone and everything, including your own body and your own world. Let the feeling of love radiate out for 5 minutes. And then at 12 p.m., do the same thing. Pause for 5 minutes and radiate love out for that 5 minutes. And the more people we get doing this, the more we'll create a greater collective of intention to manifest a frequency of love on this planet. But you can go to Facebook. It's called 1 Billion Strong, and you'll know it when you find it. And join that group and join the people that are involved in that process right now. Thank you so much. My boyfriend Omar passed away. Does he have any message from? Wow, a lot of excitement coming in from Omar. Wow, a lot of excitement in the heart for you. Like, yeah, he says he gave his heart to you. He gave his heart to you. Yeah, and by this he means you're not his physical heart, but like his love. He gave his love to you. He was so honored and grateful to give his love to you. I don't know. He's saying something about a temple, something about going to the temple. Going to the temple. I don't know why he's saying, but he wants you to go to the temple. Yes. I'll be beside you. I'll be beside you there. Do not go believing I am not with you. Yes. Yes. His love will remain with you. His love will remain with you. He wants it to blossom into new things for you. He wants the love that you have to blossom into something new for you while you are here. Yes, he really wants you to. Yes, I will. I get really excited. He gets really excited. Yes, he wants you to allow the love that you have to blossom into more. That love that you guys had, allow it to blossom into more for you while you are here. He wants you to really enjoy your stay here. Yes. Yes. He says, stop mourning. Stop mourning. Stop mourning. Wow. Thank you so much. Question from Vertical. Is there a higher power at play in that my partner's current deal partially falls into the hands of another? A few words changed everything. I'm being told to tell you, Metatron is saying you can actually reverse that by going, whatever those words that were said, you can go back, review the situation, and have the proper words said. It will shift the energy of the situation as it's going to unfold. Literally, you can go back to when those words were said and say the proper words in memory, like rewrite that information. Like go back and re-speak those words to be the words that were the appropriate words at that time. That will cause a shift in the existing timeline. That will cause an existing shift in the timeline. Wow, thank you so much. Question from Sonia. Is the name of Sormaya is one of my spiritual guides, is coming to mind all the time. Yes. Yeah, they want you to connect to the energy of the tree. They want you to connect to the energy. This is a big, tall tree. This is a big, tall tree. Or at least that's how this is, whatever this is, something very tall and big. It's like a tree connected to the earth, goes deep down. Really get you connected to the earth. You need to be connected to the earth and the heavens energetically. Going to this tree will facilitate that. Going to this tree will facilitate that. Yes. The rooting. To help you with a really rooting, like deep rooting. Yes. Heaven and earth. Bringing heaven and earth together in your consciousness. Wow. I get lots of red color with him too. Lots of red light and color energy around him. That's really cool. Like there's a big tall tree that's near you. You got to go to that tall tree, connect to it, and really let yourself feel yourself getting connected to the grounding energy of the tree and the sky above it. The energy between the sky and the earth. That tree will help you to integrate those two energies. Wow, that's really cool. Something about money too. Sorry, they just said something about dollar signs too for you. I like that. Carrie Lynn's asking Archangel Metatron, how can I make permanent change when using crystals too? Can I seal the vibration for healing? He said, you don't want to seal the vibration for healing. You want the healing to remain dynamic and perpetual. You don't want to seal it. You want it to be dynamic and perpetual. The healing is dynamic and perpetual. Do not seal it or contain it as such. You want it to be dynamic and perpetual healing. Yes, you must understand that the structure of crystals is very specific in that they can be altered and adjusted according to the consciousness that is utilizing the mechanism in the function for which it is being applied. In this case, you are speaking of healing. You do not want to seal. You want the healing to be perpetual and dynamic. Very important that you make that distinction, that it be perpetual and dynamic. Oh, thank you for that super chat, Rainbow Warrior. I really appreciate that. Oh, you're welcome, Vertical. Let's see here. I love this. Is my mom okay? She was missing. She's a missing case, still unsolved. I'm getting very strongly that her soul is certainly safe and free. I'm not picking up so much from the body, but I don't feel like she's not in this dimension, but I can certainly tap into her higher self. I'm trying to get information from her. I'm seeing like an island. I'm seeing like a casino. I'm seeing like something really exciting going on. But it's like there's a lot of excitement in this space where I'm feeling her energy being present. Yes, lots of lights, lots of color, lots of activity. But I'm feeling her soul is very contented. Her soul is very contented. Yeah, there's a lot going on around her. Wow, that's cool. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. My dad passed in 2004. Does he try to connect with my spirit? I feel him. Well, you already know. He says you already know. You already know. Yes. He says you already know. That's why you feel him. But what he's, yes. He wants you to move onward. He says, yes, this has impeded your relationships too. Yes. He says he wants you to be free in your relationships. But it's really, yeah. He's yes. He wants you to grow up. Like he wants you to grow up and really become all you can be. And he's been trying to encourage you to do more of the things that you really love to do. To not be stuck there anymore. He's drawing, I'm seeing a picture of a heart being drawn in sand. A heart being drawn in sand for you. Like literally, that's the image I'm getting. A heart being drawn in sand. Like a finger putting it in sand. Yes. The fact that you're opening this, he wants me to tell you that be open to receiving now. Be open to receiving now. He's not telling me what that is, but he's saying be open to receiving now. And one of the other things you can do with someone who's left the physical dimension, if you want to really commune to them, and you're already feeling them, but you can ask him to bring his energy closer, and you can ask him to show you images and ideas in your mind that you need. Ask him to show you images and ideas in your mind that you need. And he'll give them to you, right? He'll give them to you. How can we get a reading? Hi, Ash. If you want to go get a reading, go to my website, torontomedium.com or williammichaelforbes.com, and go to the shop there, and you can book either a half-hour reading or a 1 hour reading. And again, these are just snapshots. I mean, there's so much information that's come. It's like if you could see I don't know if you remember Rolodex or if you're watching one of those flip comic books, but when people ask a question, there's so much information that happens so quickly, and just that you can't get it all in a single question. You might get the essential things you need, but there's so much more information that comes in for you that I just don't have the time to articulate. But yeah, go to my website, WilliamMichaelForbes.com or TorontoMedium.com, and you can book a half-hour reading or a 1 hour reading there. Got time for 2 more questions. Is my grandma and mom together? No, they're not. They're not together in that realm anymore. They've both moved on. Your mother still has a connection to you. Your mother's still staying connected to you. She hasn't moved on from you, but she's moved on from this world really clearly. And the words coming to mind are baby girl. The words baby girl. That's the words that I'm being told to communicate to you. Baby girl. Baby girl. Yeah, your grandmother's like, she's in another realm of experience now. She's in another embodiment. Yes. Very excited. Very excited about it too. Someone's asking on YouTube for me, which part of our courses do I find the most impactful? Well, from my observations, every one of them is very impactful. Certainly the one that has made the biggest difference in people's lives, and in the beginning is our 102 Masterclass on liberation. But learning to tap into your guides and angels becomes a very powerful resource too, Blaine. Like just learning the function of how to be sensitive to the energy and consciousness of other realms of information that you can learn to harness is very powerful too. In our 102 Liberation Masterclass, you learn how to release old emotions from your mind and body. You literally learn to liberate yourself from your past. Very powerful. But I would say those two are very good starting points. Any one of our courses is going to benefit you tremendously. We get healings happen in our classes all the time. The Ascended Masters do healings. They teach all the lessons. I'm just the vehicle for it. It's information that comes through me, not from me. And I'm so grateful that I get to be a vehicle for this. And I'm watching how people's lives have changed in the last 4.5 years since this has been happening in my life has been nothing short of a living miracle every single day. So yeah, thanks for that question, Blaine. Thanks so much. Amanda's asking, any guidance for me today? Yes. If you can get a chance to go out, if you can get a chance to just go out for a walk and become very focused on the energy of the sun for you today, like receiving the energy of the sun. It's not about exposing yourself to the sun for a lengthy time, but really letting yourself feel not just the sensation of heat, but the energy that the sun is able to impart to you at this time. Like really feel what the sun is energetically giving to you. This is very important for you to feel. They used to tell me, go out and get photons, William. And because light versus heat is different. Light, the function of heat is different than the function of light. And they're different levels of consciousness. So you really want to take time to absorb some of that light, the intelligence of the light that's being transmitted to you today. That's for you, Amanda. Okay, one more question, and we're gonna. Well, thank you for that super chat, Yannick. I really appreciate that. Brianna's asking, is my boyfriend who passed January 2021 watching over me? Is he with me? He's been trying to get you to go forward. He wants me to tell you to stop looking back, stop mourning. He's been trying to like push you forward. You've had a couple of times you've tripped unexpectedly. You wonder what tripped me. That's him. He's trying to get you to go forward in your life. He's not happy seeing you unhappy. That will give him greater fulfillment right now, to see you going forward in your life, to restore love in your life, But there's been a few times that you've tripped unexpectedly, and that's him trying to nudge you forward. They're trying to get through to you in the way that you're able to receive it. But yeah, he really wants you to go forward with your life now. No more suffering. No more suffering. No more suffering. Oh, good morning, Con. How you doing? Great. Okay, thank you. I think That's it. Okay, guys, listen. I want to wish you all a wonderful, joyful day. I look forward to seeing you on the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. And make certain that you focus on love. Like what Metatron was saying earlier today about creation is so important. Every thought you think is going to create, whether you got that thought from somebody else. Choose your thinking wisely. Every thought can only be of love or fear. And create a day of love for yourself. Create a day of love for yourself. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys on the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. Yes. Also want to say for those of you that want to join our Mediumship Masterclass program, we begin June the 24th with our 101 Masterclass on Awakening. And I encourage you to go sign up for that course because it will be limited seating. And I want to wish you guys much, much love. Have a wonderful and a joyful day. Bye for now.